and welcome to the High Pulse podcast. I'm your host, Rosie Nishanyan. My guest today is Tigran Grigoryan. Tigran is a personal trainer and fitness coach based in Southern California. He's also the creator of Arrii Parrii, an Armenian dance fitness program whose instructional dance videos have gone viral on social media. Hi, Tigran. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it, Rosie.
Awesome. So why don't we get started with what is Arrii Parrii and what inspired you to create it?
Yeah, so Arrii Parrii is the fun way to exercise for Armenians, primarily Armenian moms. Why I created it initially was because of my mom. So the story is, before I was a personal trainer, before I even got into like dance fitness, my mom was going through some tough times because she lost her husband, my dad, and her mom 3 weeks apart from each other. And it was very challenging times for her. They were both living obviously together. My grandma was living with my mom and obviously my dad too. So when she lost both of them within 3 weeks of span, now it's going to be just, oh yeah, 10 years, 2016. So 10 years
Wow.
in November, or actually October. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So I noticed that she was in a tough place. I was working out. I was playing basketball, so I had a way to relieve my stress and tension, with friends and just working out. But I noticed that she was in a dark place and tough times for her, so I decided to sign her up for the gym. That was like a local gym, a new one that opened up where we live. And at the local gym, I knew that they had Zumba classes, so she would take Zumba classes twice a week. And then after she got used to the Zumba classes, I got her a personal trainer, which ended up being her actual Zumba instructor, was also a personal trainer. And she was doing, 2 times a week of personal training and Zumba 2 times a week. And from there, we were at a Armenian wedding maybe, and we were like, well, what if we, did this with Armenian music and like added it to like a Mediterranean style? Because, in Armenians, depending on what region you're from, you'll have like Greek music, you'll have obviously Armenian music, you got Arabic music from the Arab side countries, you'll have Persian music from the Persian side countries, like the Armenian diaspora. So you would have all that, and of course you would have Latin. Latin is always mixed into it. So I said, why don't we try it with Armenian music and the Mediterranean mix, and that's how I kind of like started up. And yeah, my mom said you should go for it. You should try it out. I think it'll work. So I did. I started it 2022. So yeah, 4 years, a little 4.5 years.
Wow.
We launched 2022 online, and yeah, it's been going great since.
I love that. That's so beautiful. That's such a like a personal reason for starting this. You mentioned a little bit about Armenian weddings. Do you have a favorite Armenian dance at a wedding?
That's a good question. I love the shalacho dance, which is the fast feet, and it's usually done solo or like you do it with like a friend, a partner, and in a circle. So I would say shalacho. And then getting into shurshpars. I lately I've been learning more of the shurshpar group circle dances.
Mm-hmm.
So the kef shurshpars and the circle dances are also fun, and I'm getting more into that now. But yeah, I would say the shalacho, which I didn't really know how to do back in the day. I would just, uh, try to figure it out and do some kind of movements, but it wasn't the right stuff. I recently learned. Because shalacho is very tough. It's challenging, but you could learn it. You could do it. You just have to practice at it, just like with anything. So I learned that just like a couple of years ago. Believe it or not, most people
Oh,
think
wow.
that I've been going to dance class for all my life, but I just love to dance. I always loved to dance, but I was always in public shy and timid to go out and dance, and especially at weddings and Armenian.
Yep.
The other dances, I wasn't as timid. At the school dances, I know I would get up and dance hip hop and things like that. But when it came to weddings, I was always like timid, and I would always be like, okay, let's take a couple of shots, and then we could hit the dance floor, and I'll be okay. Be more loose, but now that I learned the actual shalacho steps, I'm much more confident, and I'm actually teaching it now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I totally relate. When I was a kid, My family loved to do the shushbars especially, and I would always be like, "No, I'm not going." My mom and sister would go up, and I'd be like, "No, I'm sitting at the table." And once I became an adult and I was going to like friends' weddings, then I was like, "Okay, I know what I'm doing. I can do this." Um, and so my
Yeah.
favorite of those are the Michigan hop or the Detroit hop. Some people call them different things. I love those. They're so fun and they're very energetic, and you definitely break a sweat after that.
And yeah, it was pretty cool because like I didn't know there's so many when it comes to the Schulspars and the group circle dances. There are so many. Of course, the traditional ones that are from the villages and actual Armenian traditional ones. But I'm learning that more and more that a lot of it was just created also. Added little twist to it, like you said, the Michigan one, Detroit one. There's certain regions and they have their own, which is pretty cool, even from like the Syrian Armenians and then like
Hmm.
different parts of the diaspora. So it's pretty cool.
Given that there's always new things to learn, how do you actually develop your dance fitness routines? How do you take the Armenian steps and turn them into an exercise?
Yeah, so I got my personal training certificate. So I became a personal trainer a few years after I sent signed my mom up to the gym. So I love to work out. I love to play basketball. Basketball has been part of me since I was 5 years old, and I still play till this day. So how I get new routines is a couple ways. One, I take private lessons with professional dance instructors, and that's how I learned how to dance like actual shalacho and different Armenian dance steps and learn the dance steps. So I invested time in actually taking private lessons. Actually, one of the girls that's on my Instagram videos and also on our online videos, she used to dance for Bert in Armenia, which is the biggest
Oh, wow.
Armenian, group, one of the larger Armenian groups and well known. And so she gave me private lessons, and that's how I learned my first shalacho steps and advanced level steps. She taught it in Armenian, and I recorded it and I put it on our online portal. I watched the videos and I learned it and I practiced it. And then I said, okay, now that I know it, I'm going to do the videos in English. And I started teaching it in English. So going back to the answer to that question, I guess, so I would basically take private lessons. What I would also do is take research like YouTube videos, like music videos, and see what kind of movements they use, and then also incorporate it with the dance movements with exercise movements that I know. Watch a lot of YouTube of like exercise movement, dance fitness from um different cultures, like especially like the
Mhm.
American pop culture and hip hop, and I would just incorporate those movements similar to the Armenian dance movements of music, basically.
That's awesome. I actually, the Baird Ensemble, they came here to Brooklyn, I wanna say last, winter, so we saw them perform, and I'd only ever seen their YouTube videos, and they're so phenomenal. So that's super cool that you took lessons from her.
Yeah, definitely. They're really cool. I got to see them. They were in LA a couple years ago, and I got to see them for the first time. So that was pretty cool.
You break down the steps really well in your online videos, and you make something that could be very foreign to people seem actually very accessible. So what's it like teaching online versus when you're in studio?
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting question. Yeah, because I'm grateful that you know people have actually mentioned to me that, oh, I love the way you break down the steps, whether it's in the comments, direct messages, or even in person when they see me. Like, hey, I really love the way you explain the movements. Some people have even just told me, like, randomly came in up like, hey, I'd like to actually watch your videos, and I've learned how to dance Armenian for my wedding. So thank you, I appreciate it. Like, you make it very simple and easy to learn and fun. So yeah, the difference is quite interesting because obviously when you're recording online videos, there's nobody else in the room. So you have to be energetic and fun and bring the energy on your own. However, when it's a live class, you have other people there that you could feed off their energy, and it gives you a
Mhm.
little bit more energy, and you're more alert. So it's quite interesting. Yeah, it's a little bit of more challenging, but I never thought of it to be a challenging until I guess just thinking about it now. And it's funny because I don't even know that I break it down so simply, or I break it down in a way where people love to learn it or they find it fun to learn. But getting those comments and feedback from the people, it actually means a lot to me because I was like, oh, it's working. Then I don't have to really uh, change too much of my teaching style is. People are attracted to it because it's fun, it's simple, and it's easy to pick up. So that's the main difference is like keeping in mind that there's an audience on the other side of the screen and
Mhm.
bringing the energy, making it fun for them, being interactive, and also just making it fun and simple for them to learn, as opposed to a studio class. Like you could in live, you could see how people are performing, and they might need some kind of help or a guidance along the way. You could kind of help them with the exercise portions of it. But when it comes to the dance, I always tell people just have fun. Don't worry about like the steps. After time, through consistency and practice, you'll get it. But the most important thing I always say, like dancing is an art, so just express yourself and have fun.
With that, do you think, like, aside from breaking down the steps, do you think any of your personal training experience translates in terms of how you teach, in terms of, like, the psychological, like, effects of exercise, or in the way you encourage people in your videos, like, anything like that in terms of motivation?
Yeah, the one-on-one personal training is a lot more mindset oriented, right? You're goal driven. So I bring that mindset into the dance, but try to make the dance more just a fun way to move. This is, for people to find a fun way to get their bodies moving, a fun way to do cardio instead of just, walking. Let's say they could do a fun dance workout to get their steps in. So initially it started off like that, just making it like similar to Zumba, making a fun way for people just to move their bodies. And why not to Armenian music and our culture, right? At the same time. But then looking into it as I got more into it, it's developed over years. I was like, okay, now we're gonna take a next step and try to do movements where it actually could improve certain muscle areas, right? So something that I've added to my in studio classes and also now my online videos. I don't post videos on this, but it's on my online website where people can go and do it. It's more strength training videos where we do light dumbbell weights and we do it to
Mhm.
like music. And that is very important. So I've incorporated that strength training with the light dumbbell weights with the dance. So you get 30 minutes of cardio or 25 minutes of dance fitness cardio with steps. And then we do about 25 minutes of strength training, resistance training, also with resistance bands. And I incorporated that as well. And then at the end, we do like a stretch and cool down. So I think it's just as important like to have the resistance training, and it could be body weight training, like body weight squats we do with our dance
Mhm.
workout. But I think it's just as important for our mobility and also like our muscle strength and our bone density. Because as we get older, we lose a lot of that. So that's the part that I've incorporated the personal training movements with the dance fitness movement.
You mentioned, like, it's a fun way to exercise. Why is it important for people to not just exercise, but to find joy in exercising and doing something that they actually want to do?
Yes, it's very important. I tell people all the time, if it's not dance fitness, let it be something else like hiking. Let it be playing sports. Like I love basketball. That's how I get my cardio in. I love to dance, so I dance. So it's always good to find something that you're going to enjoy. Otherwise, you're not going to stay consistent and can keep with it. So if you're going to something where like you're dragging your feet, then you're not looking forward to it. Then it's probably not a long term thing. It's not going to be a lifestyle. So some people like Pilates, it's been very popular. That's great. You could do that. Some people like running. That's amazing. Some people like hiking. Some people like walking. So whatever makes you feel good. And I also say have like a support accountability partner or even a group. That's really good with like a lot of our in-person classes. People come with a friend or a cousin or someone, or they become friends with somebody, and then they build up a community and relationship. So finding that accountability partner actually helps, and also enjoying it, because then you're like, oh, I'm going to go see Rosie on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I know that she's going to be at class, so like that helps a lot, and that makes it more fun.
Yeah, especially, you're talking about even for your own mom, like, as you get older, having that social circle and having that community and something to look forward to is super important from a mental health perspective too.
Big time. I agree. Yes, yes, exactly. And that's kind of like where I'm shifting my community online now, is I'm going to be doing that a little bit more. I need for building the online community is, helping one another to support each other to do classes online or show up to a class in person or just go out and exercise and be healthy, do anything that they enjoy.
I know during the pandemic, I started doing Zumba classes online, and they were like a video group, and so everyone would join the Zoom call, and you'd see other people's videos, and there was definitely that community aspect, which was really fun, and it's great music and fun dancing. So you've mentioned Zumba a couple times. Do you think Arrii Parrii is the Armenian answer to Zumba? Like, how would you compare the two of them?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, so I'm actually Zumba certified, and the process was, if I was going to do this, I said the first thing I should do is go get certified by Zumba. One, to make it more legitimate, and two, to understand the process behind, the thought process of the movements and how they structure a class. Because mind you, I never had any group training
Hmm.
experience before this. I did some personal one-on-one training, mostly actually all personal one-on-one training. So this was all new to me. So I said, let me go get my certificate, which I did. And then I learned it, and then it's slowly evolved. I got better over time in the past 4 years. We started the videos online earlier, recording. So 5 years, I've seen myself evolve so much in the videos, way more comfortable, the teaching method, just having more fun, because I already know the movements and you do it for a while,
Hmm.
that builds up. So it's definitely the answer for Armenian Zumba. Because people have mentioned that before, like, oh, this is Armenian Zumba, or you're an Armenian Zumba guy. I was like, yeah. Yeah.
It's good. That's the way in. It's a very familiar, like Zumba's very familiar to people. They may not know Armenian dance,
Yeah.
but I have yet to see a Zumba class that brings in any Armenian music. There's always, Spanish music, sometimes Arabic, like African music, but I haven't seen any with Armenian music. So maybe this will start to percolate over there too.
Yeah, it's interesting because I have some followers and dance, and I follow them as well, some dancers, and yeah, I've seen them now incorporated it like Armenian Zuba in different parts of the world, which is pretty cool. Like I think Australia, there was like a flyer I saw going around. My mom sent it to me. She's like, "Look, they're doing Armenian Zumba in Australia," and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." So yeah, there's been a few sprinkled like that, and then I think there's like another girl out here in LA that she um does it as well. A couple of them that like they put a little bit of Armenian twist to it in their classes as
Hmm.
well. So it's cool. It's cool to see that. As long whatever gets the community together and makes it more fun for people to move and be healthy.
You always use like a wide variety of really upbeat music. There's Armenian music, there's also Greek, there's some others, and they're very contemporary songs. Like they're very exciting. Where do you find your music for your routines?
Yeah, that's a very challenging part of it is finding the good music, and a wide range of, international music that I could put into a class. So that's the big part is very challenging. But I you look on YouTube a lot. What people send me, some friends and family members, like, oh, this is a good song. My mom sends me songs like, I like this one. You should put this one, and things like that. So that helps. My members in class, they also like refer and recommend songs. However, like, I don't use all of them, even some of my mom's, the referrals or recommendations, because I have to really feel the music and, like, and figure out, like, I could really dance to this. Because sometimes what we think we can dance to, we can't, and or what I might like, they might not like. Luckily, majority of the music that I use in my class, people love it. There would be obviously some songs that they don't, but they don't mention it. But the majority they love because they come up to me after class. Like I had one yesterday at a class, and she came up to me. She goes, "Oh, what was that Arabic song that you played? I really like it. I'm gonna steal your music." So I give them the music. Yeah, so they like it. I actually have a playlist on YouTube. There's an international music playlist, and then there's a Armenian playlist, and it's all the songs that we've used either online or in our classes. And so, like, a few people ask, like, "Oh, where can I find this?" I was like, "Here's the YouTube playlist. You could actually go and have all the songs there from international, Greek, Arabic, Persian, even some Latin, and then all the Armenian ones as well." So yeah, YouTube mainly, Spotify, iTunes, or iMusic that I use, and I mix some Zumba songs as far as like reggaeton or Latin music with like upbeat. Zumba has a lot of music that is upbeat, and they have so much to choose from reggaeton, salsa, merengue, bachata, Latin remixes, Shakira, this and that, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of music that you could choose from that could fall within that Zumba. But a lot of the songs that are Greek, Armenian, um, even the Persian and the Arabic, we have a lot of like slower songs, and they usually get remixed to like be more upbeat by DJs. So yeah, that's been the biggest challenge is like making songs that are fun and that I enjoy, because then I put my heart into it and my energy comes out in that song for the other people. If I don't really truly enjoy it, then
Mhm.
I won't be able to like teach it.
I feel like that's true for so many things too.
Yeah.
And we will definitely put the links to those YouTube playlists in the show notes so that everyone can check those out because I think we're always looking for new music to listen to.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that. I update it, regularly with new music that comes out, and I'll just update the playlist so it automatically updates.
Awesome. And so you do a lot of in studio classes. Have you done any kind of like live classes at any of the Armenian festivals around LA or Southern California or any of those kind of like community wide events?
I've done a lot of private events, and I've done a lot of public events, but Armenian festivals, I've done a few, 2 in Pasadena, and then, I did a Glendale Armenian festival for Armenian independence, which I'll be doing again in September this year. So I've done a lot of those for the public, but I'm gonna be doing an Armenian festival in San Francisco, coming up in September as well. So it's right around the same
Oh, wow.
time. So they have like an annual bazaar, which is I heard is one of the best ones, Armenian festivals, because it's 3 days long. But I'll only be there for one day on Saturday because that's the busiest day. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be something new, the first one that I'm doing outside of LA. But yeah, I've done the Armenian festivals, a lot of private events, which is pretty cool, like kids' birthdays. This Sunday, believe it or not, I'm doing my first baptism. It's a a kid's baptism, and it's going to be interesting. I've never done that. They have a kids table, about 25. They're like, oh, our kids love the dance fitness because I teach a lot of this at the Armenian schools here. Um,
Oh, yeah.
so that's why they know me. A lot of the kids from the Armenian schools, and they enjoy it. So that's why they call me to private birthday parties. And now the baptism, which I'm going to go on Sunday. So that's going to be interesting. Videos and content should come out on that. So look out for that.
That's so cool. So with the festivals and stuff, I feel like a lot of times you'll see dance groups performing, like the ones in the costumes, and they're kind of presenting the traditional dances, which is so important. But I think that's really cool that there's this kind of like community participation event kind of thing that you're going to be putting on as part of those. So that's a much needed thing.
Yeah, thank you. I agree. I agree. That's exactly what they tell me. It's like it's pretty cool because it gets the whole crowd involved, and it's just not you being an observer, which is great, and being entertained, but it's actually you getting up and moving and having fun and dancing in public, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. And then you mentioned doing classes for kids. So how different is that of teaching kids and having them follow the steps versus adults?
So yeah, it's very interesting. It's modified, meaning I'd have to bring more energy and then do some like fun movements and even fun songs for the kids. So this playlist is more selected for like kids playlist, and I also throw in there some like fun songs that they would know from like their favorite movies, like
Mhm.
Madagascar and things like that. But yeah, I throw that in there. But for the Armenian part, I do make sure that the movements are more kid friendly and fun, like a lot of jumping, more jumping and fun stuff, and like animal movements like chicken wings. They love that stuff. But when it comes to the Armenian dancing and that stuff, I try to make it um fun Armenian songs that the kids can relate to, like that they know and they sing. So
Mhm.
that's the biggest difference. And for adults, it's making movements that are in certain ways that they're not going to hurt themselves. But less agile. So I have the younger version, which was for
Mhm.
kids, and then the adult version. And now I'm working on slowly adding a senior version where it's like low impact. So it's less movement, less jumping, no jumping actually, and just easier movements for the older people to perform.
I love that. That's so important. I feel like in watching a lot of exercise videos, there's always a few people in the video. One is doing kind of the normal speed, and then there's the like less impact, and then there's even more impact. If you want to burn more calories, you can jump here, etc. So it just makes everything so much more accessible.
Yeah, definitely.
What is your vision or your hope for Arrii Parrii?
I initially just started off as something fun and a fun way for people to move their body and a fun way to exercise. And then slowly it's now, evolved into a fun way to exercise, but also a fun way to learn how to dance Armenian at the same time. Because we do a lot of Armenian dance movements. And from there, I created another website, which is called Dance Armenian. So it's called dancearmenian.com. It's part of Audibody. And that one is strictly for online dance tutorials, like learning how to do the steps. I have tutorials on YouTube as well, but the ones online are more professional and they're with music, so you go to the beat. So it kind of evolved into that. So the vision is to one, make it still a fun way for people to exercise, for kids, fun way for kids to move and be introduced to Armenian dance, and especially boys, because growing up, we always thought like dancing was a girl thing. But it just to make it fun for boys to get introduced to dance in a fun way, starting at a young age. Since I teach kids that are like 2.5 years old, all the way from preschool to like elementary. So that's one vision of it, and then the second vision is helping Armenian moms, which I'm working with, is on my online community to help Armenian moms to be healthier, basically, through dance, movement, and now nutrition. I have a certificate for nutrition coaching, so I'm adding that to the piece. That's how it's been evolved from just a fun way to exercise uh, to Armenian music, and but also to get the results for health and wellness as well. And then the third aspect is learning the dance Armenian tutorials, which I have in Armenian language recorded by my friend Anushik, who used dancing at Bear, and then I learned the steps, and I'm teaching it in English as well. And we have beginner, intermediate, advanced level, and then advanced level is the shalacho steps, which is really fun. And now, then slowly, I'm going to be adding more to the website. The Dance Armenian website is teaching wedding dances for like Armenian brides dances.
Oh,
I
yeah.
won't be doing it, but I have another girls that will be teaching those particular lessons. And I've been getting into Shurspar lately. So learning Shurspar from a really, really great teacher out here in Fullerton. His name's Tom Bozikin. A lot of people know
Mhm.
him. Yeah, have you heard of him? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's a legend. So we did a master class at my studio last month, and it went really, really good. We're gonna probably do another one next month, but I'm gonna take some lessons with him and learn the actual Schulspaß. And then, I told Tom like I want to learn it so I could record it, teach it, and then put it on my online portal as well. And so that's another thing that it's in the works.
I feel like every once in a while I will get asked from a friend or family member, like, "Hey, I'm gonna do the money dance for my wedding. What song should I do? Or like, how do I do it?" And I'll like just find a couple quick links to send them. And so now there's gonna be this great resource of great, you can prepare, you can know exactly what you're doing and feel confident in a day when there's a million decisions that you need to make too.
Yeah, definitely. I love that one, the money dance one, huh? Which one is that, the one where they just like they're just breaking and ring? Is it the fast? Was
Yeah,
it
you kind of solo dance,
oh, so
and like they'll throw money in the air.
is that for girls or guys too?
So you could do both. So I didn't really feel comfortable dancing by myself for money. So my
Yeah.
husband was with me and we were both dancing. I think for me, I think it came more from like the Russian Armenian side of my family. But it's always just a fun thing to do as well. And then, to your point of the shush bars, the line dances, the circle dances, when you go to an Armenian wedding, sometimes it can be really intimidating of like, wow, look at all these people doing this dance. I don't know the steps. And so another great resource to just learn it, have it in your back pocket so you're ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of people have asked me like, "Oh, can you do this Schulspar and Kev Schulspar?" I'm like, I know only a couple of fun Schulspars and a couple of Kochari, like traditional movement.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna be sharing that, and then as long as I take private lessons with Tom, I'll be sharing more as well.
Yeah, he knows everything. He's amazing.
Yeah, he is great. Have you had a class with him before?
I haven't, but my mom has. So,
Oh,
back
cool.
in Southern California, my mom was doing like a community Armenian dance class at our church at St. Mary. Um, And so
Okay.
she had learned from Baron Simon, she had learned from Tambozigian,
Yeah.
and her class ended up being more of that kind of just community thing. Like, come on Wednesdays, people would bring, hey, I have like leftover wine, or I made a cake this week. There's a little bit of like, let's just move and let's
Yeah.
talk and hang out while also learning, but no pressure.
I love it. Yes, that's what it's about. Exactly.
And you also mentioned with the kids classes that getting boys interested in dance, and I think that's really interesting because especially the Armenian performance dances, I personally think the men's parts are way cooler because they're the ones that they're jumping, they're running, they're way more intense. versus a lot of the women's dances, they're very delicate, they're very like demure and everything. But like the men's ones, they're slapping hands and they're jumping and running, and so I think that's a great way to get them interested too.
Yeah, that's exactly like Yakushta is really fun. I do it in a fun way for the kids to learn. But
That's
Yakushta is
awesome.
one that I don't know the exact steps. I want to learn with Tom. Yeah, I agree with you. There's the bert with the man on the hands on the shoulders and they stand on top of
Yeah.
each other. That's a cool dance. So yeah, it's more masculine because that's very intimidating when kids go to dance classes for anybody that goes to even adults that go to dance classes. It's very intimidating a dance fitness class. So I try to make the setting really fun and enjoyable and more relaxed atmosphere. And same goes for like when you're younger as a kid, you when you have this stereotype or misconception that it's like, oh, dance is for girls, and you're just like, I don't know if I want to dance in public because it's for girls, and or you're embarrassed and you don't know the dance movement. So at least this way you get a little bit exposed to it, and they could like express themselves and have fun at the same time.
Among your students and the community that has been built around you, how have you found interest among non-Armenians, if at all? Or has it been mainly Armenians that are like, I just want to like learn my heritage, or are there non-Armenians that are like, hey, this is super fun. This is like Zumba, something I don't know. Let me try it.
Yeah, actually, we get some non-Armenians. We get quite a few non-Armenians that try the class. Either they found me through Google search because they, local in like Burbank, California is where the studio is, so they'll do a Google search and find the class that way and come. I also offer my classes on ClassPass, so people
Oh,
take the
nice.
class from like the ClassPass, like, oh, this seems interesting. So from that, I've had 2 Hispanic girls, Latin girls that take the class regularly now. They love it. They come on a regular basis, like once or twice a week. And then I have 1 Asian, she's I think Filipino. She comes often now. She just recently started coming pretty often, and she loves it. She like, dancing Armenian. And then I had 1 other girl, she would come. She was, I think white descent American, and she would just come for over 2 years, but then she moved to San Diego. But yeah, I've had non-Armenians like enjoy the class and come on a regular basis, which is, they've had Armenian friends or they're been exposed to the Armenian culture, so they're
Hmm.
interested in it and they actually come. But we've had African Americans take the class, all kinds of other non-Armenians. Yeah, they've taken the class and they've enjoyed it. They liked it.
That's great. I feel like Armenian dance and especially contemporary Armenian music is so underrated. And like I listen to a ton of Spanish music and French music and hip hop, and so like why not Armenian? Why can't other people listen to Armenian stuff? So
Yeah.
that's really exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And some of the music that we make, Armenian artists make, and that I select for my classes, they have a mixture of like Latin in it, kind of Latin flavor, or like pop, hip hop ish. So it's like not full on Armenian. We could do some like different dance movements to the Armenian music, and which I do. I do some salsa steps to like certain Armenian songs, and that are mixed with like a Latin pop flavor.
Awesome. Okay, so now it's time for high takes, which is our lightning round on all things Armenian arts and culture. Are you ready?
I am. Let's do it.
So, what is one piece of Armenian art that our listeners should check out?
There was a book that I recently got from Armenia. Hold on. This is a good one. Where Wild Roses Are in Bloom. That's right. And it was the Anatolian story by I think Mark Auden. Yeah, Mark Auden. And this was someone recommended. So this was a really good book. It was interesting. It talks about the Armenian genocide and a man finding his family. It's a pretty interesting book. It takes you on a good plot twist. So I would recommend this one actually.
What is one word that describes being Armenian to you?
Resilient.
One Armenian artist or cultural icon that inspires you?
This one, I would say it's Komidas, and I've been learning more about him recently, and just more interested in about him. When I was in Armenia last year, I was trying to find a book about him in English, but my Armenian is. I went to an Armenian school, but my reading and writing is not that great. My speaking is much better. So I was looking for a book in English so I could understand his like
Mhm.
autobiography. Couldn't find it. Went to multiple bookstores. Couldn't find it, and came here and I found it actually in Glendale just recently. I bought a book on him, so I'm going to be reading his autobiography and learning more about him. So I'm very interested in him.
I speak very, very little Armenian. So that's one of the reasons I love that it's like Armenian dance is so accessible because you're teaching in English, which is great. But also, Komidas related, there's a man from the East Coast here named Joel Martin, and he has this project called Jazzical Komidas. So he takes Komidas and jazz and he fuses them together and makes new music, and it's very,
Wow.
very cool. He's performed at some Armenian organizations and Armenian churches out here. He goes to Armenia every so often, so
Wow.
definitely check out his work too.
That's pretty cool.
And one piece of advice for aspiring creators, fitness enthusiasts, dance lovers, anything like that, advice for them.
I would say the number one thing is, it's cliche, but you've heard it as, be yourself. Just, I would say like a lot of times we doubt ourselves. So trust yourself, and be yourself. That's it.
And finally, one thing that you wish the world knew or understood about Armenian culture.
Majority of people that know Armenians, I guess, probably know this, but not necessarily we know it as Armenians, but um, knowing that, we're one of the first races, no, we are the first race to actually accept Christianity, with Noah's Ark also landing on Mount Ararat, and just knowing that, our country is beautiful. Some people think like we're Muslim sometimes, but when I said like we're Christian, we're the first race that accepted Christianity, and they're like, oh really? So I still get that from time to time. It happens. So I guess just learning about the actual Armenian people, and knowing that our country is so beautiful, and the people are so welcoming, and so many beautiful sites to visit Armenia, and at least do that once in their lifetime.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Tigran. This was so great chatting with you. And I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you. Appreciate it.